Any other questions?
Skin cancer. You were saying about it. Do you have to do it topically, or do you ingest it for that as well?
Well, no, for skin cancers, you just put the oil right on the cancer itself, put a bandage on. I suggest that people change the bandages about every 3 days. Usually, in most cases, within 3 weeks, the cancers are gone. Literally, I've supplied the oil to hundreds of people with skin cancer, and we've never had one return. They all, when they see, I always recommend do it, keep treating it until it's completely healed, just nothing but pink skin. Then continue to treat it for 2 more weeks as if it was still there. Because if there's any residual cancer cells left, I want them all dead. And everyone we've ever treated like that, unless I did see a case one time where a gentleman had it in his nose, but he'd had it for years, and it had gone right into the cartilage. And unfortunately, he was a truck driver, so he couldn't eat the oil. And now he used the oil. It did help him some. It helped him a great deal, actually. But to do the treatment, he couldn't do the treatment right because of his job. But ingesting the oil for like terminal cancers or serious like lung cancers, stomach cancers, that type of thing, you have to ingest it. Although I do recommend for lung cancer patients to ingest it and also to use like the vaporizers like they have on display here. Because vaporizers do wonderful things for lung conditions.
Well, now the oil, is that mixed in with a cream that you apply on your skin, or is it just the straight oil onto your skin?
Well, I like to work with the straight oil. I mean, you can mix it with different skin creams, Noxzema. I've mixed it with Noxzema myself. It's great for like doing facials, because we get all of these, you know, as we age, we get all these unhealthy cells and lumps and bumps. You give yourself a good facial with that, and everything, it just smooths right out. So it's great like that. But like I get a lot of people calling me, well, you know, you can use these butter processes and this cannabis butter they're making. But to me, it's, again, you're watering down the medicine. But when you have a disease like cancer, you don't want watered down medicine. You want the purest form of it, the strongest possible medicine available. And that's the only way you get it. Well, I always leave the oil like loose enough. I always leave enough, a little bit of water is left behind. It leaves the oil loose enough that you can squeeze it out of the tubes. But there are some strains that the oil is so thick that you can't get it, once it cools off, you can't get it out of the tube unless you put it in hot water. Right. So I like to make it easy for the, for the patients to get their doses.
Somebody was questioning the amount of THC in oil, and I believe, according to the Senate committee report, that most oil has between 60 and 80% THC content.
It would take very, well, you're not going to find that on the street. I've been asked that several times, and I mean, I really have no way of determining the THC levels in the oil. But I would say that most of the oil I produce is 60% or well above. But again, it depends on the strains you're working with. In my case, it's almost like my hands are tied because I'm running around trying to get stuff for people from all of these, growers and dealers. And, the quality varies. And this is what I warn people about. Like drug dealers don't care. All they want to do is make a profit. So, I mean, the first thing I do, if I'm going to buy a pound, I sit there, make a joint, and I smoke about half of it. And if it makes me want to melt into the chair or go lay down, then that's the stuff I'm looking for. But there are other medicinal aspects. I found that basically all of the strains that are up and around 20% THC, they all seem to cure cancer. But some strains are more effective for killing pain than others. So it varies from strain to strain, and that's the reason I say we have to grow this, the most medicinal strains for people like with arthritis or all of these different ailments. It wouldn't be hard to determine what they need.
I've got another one. If you supply people with this, are you not, first of all, in contradiction with the actual existing law right now?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
There is no provision under Canadian law for anybody to make hemp oil.
Okay.
It's a no-no.
Even
people
like one gentleman pointed out a little while ago, for people who have the Magic Gold card and can possess and grow legally, we're still not legally allowed to make oil. We're not legally allowed to make green butter or anything that's considered to be an extract from the plant itself.
Okay, basically comes to my second question. So it's basically out of the question for you to do a clinical trial with now I mean like a literal official clinical trial with subjects that would make them subject to the study, that would freely choose to decide to be subject of such a study and then to publicize.
I would donate my medicine and my body to that trial.
Yeah,
I'd donate it all.
I would be totally in favor of a clinical study, whatever I've been challenging the government for years. I told them, you know, take 12 cancer patients. Medical system takes 6, give me 6. Let's see what happens. They won't go there because they know what's going to happen.
However, shouldn't it be a legalized, or shouldn't it be a legal aspect if you actually get the consent from these people that they're willing to ingest that by their own risk? You should be able to run.
It's still trafficking.
The minute I pass, see, like I didn't, back before when I went through the court system, I was growing this stuff on a grand scale and I was giving it away. There was no money involved. I never charged people, but I was still charged with trafficking. The minute you pass, if I pass, if this was a real joint, if I pass it to him, that's trafficking. No money involved, just passing a joint is trafficking. What a wonderful country we live in.
But being charged and convicted with trafficking, you did receive one of the lighter sentences that...
Well, the main reason I think I received the lighter sentence is a very light sentence. I mean, I was facing 12 years. They could have locked me up for 12 years. But the judge said it himself during the sentencing. Although they broke their necks to find me guilty, I mean, I never seen such a kangaroo court in my life. They wouldn't let me introduce the scientific evidence. They wouldn't let the patients go on the stand. And even the Crown prosecutor was seen leaving the jury room 3 minutes before they come in with my verdict. Isn't that called jury tampering? Judge was made aware of it. Nothing happened. It was all about convict Rick. But yet, when they went up to sentence me, he sat there on the stand and he said, in my 34 years in the legal system, he said, I've never seen a case like this. He said, there was no criminal intent. Well, if that's the case, then what am I doing here? I told him that in the beginning. I said, this does not belong in a court of law. And then he continued on. He said, the scientific evidence does exist to back up everything he's saying, plus he has all these patients. So they gave me a $2,000 fine, and they never even put me on probation. And I really think the only reason they gave me the fine because I kept telling the court off. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and listen to their nonsense.
Exactly.
I remember one point there, they said to me, you shouldn't take this personally, Mr. Simpson, or Mr. Simpson. And I come out of that chair and I looked at him and I said, take this personally. I said, due to the raids in 2005 and 2006, I said, people died. Do I take this personal? You're damn right I do. Like that, and the judge, down goes his head. They can't even look you in the face. They know they're doing wrong. And one of these days, they're going to need the oil.
Getting back to the scientific data, I know because of it being illegal, a lot of people who take the oil like to stay out of the spotlight and out of the picture. But have you collected any data? Is there numbers in terms of how many folks you've actually are aware that have used the oil and for what ailments they've used the oil? And if you haven't, is there a way that we could go back and find that information out so that to sort of open the door to a presentation to give whoever, I mean, the people that are going to get it, I mean, I don't know who you're going to give it to because I think they're all kind of baked.
Yeah.
But aside from that, it would be kind of neat to take numbers and actual physical numbers of people. Is there any of that data available?
An awful lot of people actually that come to me, they come and get the treatment. Many of them I never even hear from again. They just disappear into the woodwork. But if you're looking for data, I mean, there's a piece of data staying right beside you.
Oh, no, I realize that. I realize that. But I mean, as opposed to 1 or 10 or 5 people that... Well, I mean, I'm not the one that I'm talking... Like, I don't have to be convinced because, as you know, I've provided to people that have gotten better. So, you know...
well, I always do that.
I'm just wondering if, like, for, like, the numbers, what are the... Is there some actual numbers that could go along with the testimonies of the people?
Oh, yes. I mean, I treated over 1,500 people. I provided
That's a
treatment
good number.
for over 1,500 people.
That's
And basically, if you want to talk to hundreds of people, I can arrange it. That's not a problem.